Hello everyone. We learned about momentum and now we'll move on to another simple but very relevant concept, that is the impulse of force. By definition, impulse is the product of the average force and time. It is equal to the total change in momentum produced during an impact. So if I have to write down a formula, I will look at the definition and I'll use that definition to write down my formula, and I say that look, impulse is the product of average force and time, which means I is equal to F into T. And then I ask the same questions that I ask whenever I learn a new concept, like what are the units of impulse? To find this, I look at the formula and I say force has a unit of Newton, time has a units of seconds, and therefore the units of impulse, which is a product of Newton and second, that is a product of force and time, will be Newton second, right? So we have the units of impulse as Newton second, and of course correspondingly in the CGS system it will be dyne second. You can of course convert this into kg meters and different other units, and you will see that it is kg meter per second in the SI system and gram centimeter per second in the CGS system. So these were the units of impulse. The next question to ask is what kind of a quantity is impulse? And again for this I look at the formula and I ask what kind of a quantity is force and time? So force we know is a vector and time we know is a scalar, and therefore impulse, which is a product of a vector and a scalar, will turn out to be a vector. So we have answered the question, what kind of a quantity is impulse? It is a vector quantity. Finally, I ask what are the dimensions of impulse, and I get that simply by multiplying the dimensions of force and time, and therefore the dimensions of impulse come out to be m1 L1 t raised to minus 1. So we answered three questions. What are the units? What kind of a quantity it is? And what are the dimensions of impulse? Now comes the main question. How do I calculate impulse? Well, it's pretty straightforward if I have been given the data. If you are given force and time, you'll simply multiply them and you'll get the answer for impulse. But there are also other ways to calculate this impulse. One other way is that impulse is given by the area under the force-time curve. And what is a force-time curve? It is simply a graph of force versus time. We'll see in a few moments how to do this. We also have one other way to calculate impulse, that is by recalling that Newton's second law tells us that the force is given by the change in momentum upon time taken. From this formula I can see that if I take this time on the other side, it gives me force into time is equal to change in momentum. And I just learned that impulse is force into time. Therefore, I can replace the force into time with impulse, and that gives me a new formula, that is impulse is equal to change in momentum. And change in momentum is nothing but final momentum minus initial momentum, or I can say P2 minus P1. So I saw that there are three ways of calculating impulse of force. Let's actually try to use these ways to calculate impulse in the following examples. Let's take the first example. Basically, what is the problem saying? In this problem, we have been given a force-time graph, and they have asked us to calculate the impulse from a time interval of 0 to 4 seconds. So 0 of course is the origin and 4 seconds is all the way on the other side, and therefore we have to calculate the impulse from 0 to 4 seconds. Okay, so how do we do that? We just saw that if I want impulse from a force-time graph, I must find it by finding the area under the curve. So it's very simple. I have to find the area trapped between this black outline and the green x-axis. Okay, so to find that I can see very clearly that the area under the curve will simply be an addition of the area of this triangle ABC plus this rectangle CDEF plus this rectangle GFIH. So if I want area under the curve, which will give me the impulse, I simply have to find the area of this triangle and these two rectangles and add them up. So let's start doing that. The area of a triangle we know is given by half into base into height. So I start writing down the area of ABC, which is half into base into height. Now for the base, I know that the base goes from 0 to 1, and therefore I write 1 minus 0 as the base, which will be the length of the base. Similarly, the height of the triangle is going from 0 to 6, so I wrote it as 6 minus 0 as the length of the height of the triangle. And this gives me the area for the triangle, and I do the same things for the remaining two rectangles. Area of the rectangle CDEF is nothing but length into breadth. So if I look at the length, I know that it's going from 1 to 2, so I wrote 2 minus 1 as the length. Next, I have to multiply by the breadth, which is going from 0 to minus 3. So I've written it as minus 3 minus 0. Finally, I have to add the area of the rectangle GFIH. And I do the same thing here, that's length into breadth, that is 4 minus 2 as the length and into the breadth, which is 3 minus 0. So this gives me the formula for all the three areas. I simply add them and I get 3 minus 3 plus 6, which gives me the final answer, which is 6 Newton second. Okay, now it's very important to remember what exactly is relevant about this sum. What I want to point out to you is that you can see that the area of this rectangle, which was below the x-axis, came out to be negative. That's exactly why that minus 3 term is there in the second place. So, what I'm trying to say is that remember, if you have some area which is below the x-axis, it's going to turn out to be negative, and that's something you should take care of. Okay, so our final answer was basically that the impulse imparted on the particle over the time interval from 0 to 4 seconds is 6 Newton second. And we used the formula for impulse under the area of Ft curve to do this. Okay, let's see one more example to find the impulse of force. In this example, we are told that there is a ball which is moving towards this batsman at certain speed. They have said that this speed is 25 meters per second. The batsman hits the ball and the ball is flung in the opposite direction with a speed of 45 meters per second. The question is, what is the impulse of force on the ball? Again, it's a pretty straightforward question. We have been given the velocity of the ball while coming to the batsman and the velocity of the ball while going away from the batsman. We have also been given the mass, that is 200 grams. It's very simple to remember that impulse is also given by the change in momentum, and that's exactly what we'll use to solve this sum. We know impulse of force is change in momentum. So what is the change in momentum of the ball? It is nothing but the final momentum minus the initial momentum, that is P2 minus P1. Now the final momentum is mass into velocity. So what is the mass? That's 200 grams. But remember, I have to convert this from gram to kg because I have to solve the sum in the SI system. So I have mass into velocity as 0.2 into 45, but remember it comes with a minus sign because the negative sign indicates that the body is moving in an opposite direction from the incoming direction. So final momentum is 0.2 into minus 45 minus the initial momentum, which is 0.2 into 25, and this gives me the change in momentum, which is minus 14 Newton second, and that's what you get as the answer, that the impulse of force on the ball is minus 14 Newton second. So we used a different formula now to find the impulse of force. This was the concept of impulse of force. If you liked the video, please subscribe.